Hello. Well, let me talk about how I manage to meet deadlines. I truly understand the importance of a project, but there are specific steps that we need to take into consideration to be able to get to that point. First of all, is prioritizing and time management. We need to identify which project, which part of the project need our immediate attention. So when we divide that from high to low, a specific request, we can go to start working and tackle them down. Also, daily and weekly planning, it's something really important because on the day-to-day base, we're going to have different type of approach. We need to have to follow up, so we need to create a specific approaches, send emails, check on the status of the project. So it's important to have a daily workaround and also a weekly plan so we can go out and think ahead. Things can change and we can go and adapt through the process, but it's really important to have a plan, at least so we're going to have a calendar and we know in what stage of that specific project we are in. Okay, so also communication and transparency. Communication and transparency, something that happens a lot, for example, at my current job at United Nations, is that I send authorizations, but based on the request, it needs to be approved by several other people. And sometimes that specific process can take longer because of the signatures and approvals. So transparency is really important. So on a daily basis, we can go ahead and provide updates about the status, and if know that this is going to take a little bit longer to be able to identify if we need additional assistance and communicate that, for example, to a supervisor or a manager, let them know, hey, the process is being stuck here because we need approval, but we haven't had communication with this specific person. Can you help me out so we can go ahead and move on? And that's how I handle that. So it's really important, communication and transparency. Stay organized. It's really important. I use several apps to be able to maintain organized, working with teams. There are multiple apps that are really amazing as far as project management and to check the status of a specific process. For example, Notion, Monday.com, Trello, Asana, like that you can have, that specific program, that is specific platform, and you can go ahead and constantly give updates on how the status, if there's something going to change, if there's an issue, the team can communicate that to me so we can go ahead, I can go ahead and take over and see if I can go ahead and fix that. Maybe sometimes it's just a miscommunication and something that I can go ahead and jump in and be able to fix that ASAP so we can move on, so we can go ahead and hit that goal to is the target to go ahead and hit the deadline at the end of the day. Flexibility and adaptability, it's really important. I understand that sometimes we have a plan, but that plan can change depending on multiple factors. So it's really important to be able to adapt yourself to what's going on, identify what portion of the project you are, and to see what other options, what solutions you can find at that point to be able to go ahead and move on. Because if you stay there and it's like, oh, my plan didn't work and that's it, that's now I have a mindset to be able to solve the issues. Being motivated, it's really important. I'm a highly motivated person, so when I'm working on a project, when I'm working on a task, I'm motivated to finish that in an excellent way, to be able to deliver that with the expectation of the company and a vendor or a client. So that's pretty much what I'm working for. So for deadlines, I truly understand. As I tell you before, I've been working for several years on international organizations. So I understand the importance of being organized and to hit the deadlines and to have the projects on time. And it's important to be able to have the work, and if it needs to be reviewed, to have that before deadline so modification changes can be done. I learned that because I'm a designer and a communicator. So when I have a design, I create a few variations of the project so we can go ahead and be able to work if there's any type of modification that needs to be performed. So that will be it. Thank you so much for the assistance, and I'll be here. Thank you. Bye bye. Well, hello. Let me talk about this specific subject. How do I stay organized? Well, it's really important, but I'm going to break it down in five specific process and step that I follow in order to maintain, like organization and to hit my goals. First of all, create a dedicated space for work. When we talk about working from home or working remotely, there's a misconception about, the way that you're going to behave and how you're going to be working. because you have that flexibility to be working from the sofa, from your bed. But after spending 7 years working remotely for an international company, I had the need to be able to create a workspace specifically for me to be able to be working. And that's pretty much what you're looking at. It's my desk, it's a complete fully office that I have everything that I need, and I keep that really clean because that keeps me mind focus of what I'm doing. So having a specific area for my laptop, I have the PC, I have my headphones I use, like for them to be able to be working. Depending if I'm going to have a meeting, the area needs to be quiet. I have sunlight. I have access, to natural air. So it creates an entire environment for me able to work properly, and that helps me to provide the service and like the type of work that you guys are expecting because I'm working properly in an area specifically for that job. I use productivity tools. I told in the previous video, I use specific tools, extensions on my computer to be able to manage a specific task, break it down on the priority to be able to start working on that, be fully organized, to have a calendar of work, and to have everything visual for me to be able to have access. I have it on my computers, but I also like use the old school like post-its and have reminders stuff that I have to keep an eye on. And at the end of the day, at the end of my shift, I double check that everything is okay. I prepare myself for the following day to check on follow-ups, emails, like everything that needs to be addressed to be able to avoid falling into having something left behind or not take proper attention on that specific task. Um, communication communication effectively, it's really important to be able to have that communication with teams when you're working from a different location and teams are located in a different part of the world. It's really important to have that specific communication, and when you're communicating through, for example, through Slack or Teams or other communication tools, not necessarily through a video, it's important to send the proper message and send the information that is requested at a time. So for me, communication is really important. It's needed and it needs to be done in a proper way. Obviously, always polite. Like you have to learn that that this is a job. So maybe you can like send a little joke to have like that sense of humor, but the main objective is to communicate if there's need, if there's assistance requests. So if the process is over, like be professional on always. So that will be the like how I keep myself productive and stay organized at my work environment. Thank you. Hello, now we go with effective communication. Communication is really important. When you work in side by side in an office, you can communicate with someone directly, but I understand that communication is really important, not just overall work, but pretty much on your day-to-day basis in your life. I'm a designer and a communicator, so I understand how important that specific message needs to be structured to be able to be received by the person of interest, to be able to get that message transferred in a proper way. Meaning that if you send an email, you need to send all the attachment, all the information. With you sending a Slack message, prepare yourself. It's something that I learned working for Fiverr, that if I have a questions, I will ask the question, but I will provide with the steps of what I did, what I searched, everything that I did before to get to that specific point, and then just need clearance to be able to perform on a specific action or to do something. So it's really important to communicate effectively to be able to pass that information in a proper way. And sometimes that's where a lot of the issues start, because that the original message is not properly created, and when it's transferred to others, it just creates confusion. So communication is important. I'm fully aware of multiple platforms that like companies remotely use to be able to work, even WhatsApp, Slack, Teams, video calls. Sometimes when I was helping specific agents with process that would take a little bit longer, and we weren't able to jump in a video call. What I did is just create a step-by-step, text, and then I send a voiceover, just like explaining what I did and where they can find it. So it's a lot of technical, like knowledge to be able to explain that to someone in a way that they can understand. If I'm located in Guatemala and that person, let's say, it's located in Bangladesh, and they were able to understand me all the time, and it was like, thank you, Federico, for taking the time and the extra mile to send the text with the step by step, but also the audio that helped me a lot. And usually I just send screenshot, with arrows, you have to click this, then you go with this one, because that's a visual way, and that's the way that you can teach others how to do stuff. And the next question is not going to be the same because it's going to be a different subject, because I have learned how to fix that specific process in case they encounter that again. Thank you. Well, hello. Let me talk about as how do I handle stress and pressure. Stress and pressure, it's something that it's always going to be associated when you are in a management role, when you're managing team, when you are the person, a resolution agent. I did that for several years in multiple organizations. So it's really important to identify something. Um, when there's a stress situation, let me go back to my years at the aviation industry. Uh, Airport operation by itself, it's really complicated. They're really complicated. There's so many factors that you have to identify. You have to solve issues on the go. So your mind needs to be prepared to be able to analyze really fast what actions we need to take. But in order to take actions, you need to be fully aware of the procedures and guidelines to be able to avoid failing, or falling into something that you shouldn't do. I learned that, like airport operations are really fast, so you need to be on top. How do you be on top? You need to know your stuff. You need to learn, like the work that you're doing. It's also on Fiverr, or work in United Nations. You need to be prepared to what's going on and to have solutions on the top of your mind. If something happens, okay, let's do this. And that's the reason why I've been hired on multiple type of work of environments, because my personality, it's a personality that will be able to work, properly on a high level stress. um, how did I learn that? Experience, working on different, like environments and different type of business. So it helps me to understand that there's always a solution. Sometimes, it's harder to find that specific solution on that moment, but it's the proper way to be able to handle this type of situation is to prepare yourself, learn, like everything that needs to be learn about, the company, the procedures, the guidelines, and be proactive. Sometimes you have to do the stuff your own. It's like you have to take ownership, even though you didn't did that. I'm going to take ownership. I'm going to fix that. That's a resolution agent. You're going to review everything, and then you're going to provide a solution. So for me, working as a resolution agent, working for the manager, working as a team lead, it helped me develop those skills to be able to understand that people are going to look for me to be able to solve, like inquiries, questions. And most of the time, to be honest, the questions are really easy. It's just that you probably didn't have the way to find the answer, or you still doubt about yourself, just like, should I do this? And that happens a lot with agents that I handle. It's like, what do you think? What do you do? What would you do in this situation? Just like, I think I will do this. Correct? That's the proper. Yeah. And there was like, you get the right answer. The only thing is you only have to believe in yourself. Okay. If you need like a pre authorization in case it's like a large amount of money, or it's a large order, or it's a legal threat, let me know. We can go and review it, and we can go and proceed to find that specific answer for you. So that's my explanation of how I handle stress, stress situations, stress environment. I'm pretty much used to. So for me, preparation, review, learning, get to know the type of business, the website, the work, the projects, everything. helps me to have a bigger and brighter idea on, like multiple scenarios and how to fix that. So that will be it. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward working with you. Bye bye.